Ladies and gentlemen, are you or a loved one looking for mobility and accessibility solutions in Sudbury? Look no further than Silver Cross Sudbury. Silver Cross Sudbury is your trusted source for a wide range of mobility aids and home accessibility products. They're dedicated to improving your independence and quality of life. Visit their showroom at 760 Notre Dame Avenue or call them at 705 222 0700. Your independence is their priority. A huge thank you to Silver Cross Sudbury, more importantly to Dean and Chantel Jacqueline for all of their support of the Behind the Bench podcast all the way back to day one. We love you both.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today on BTB, we're joined by someone who has worked their way up the ranks of the hockey world from scouting and media to league level strategy and content. He's done it all. A proud graduate of Laurentian University Sports Administration program, he took advantage of its offerings by taking on a communications internship for the Ottawa Senators back in 2019. He's also spent several years with the Barrie Colts, starting as a scout in 2016 before moving into a dual role as a manager of social media and media relations and later coordinator of hockey operations. During his time with the Colts, he helped shape the team's digital presence, supported hockey operations behind the scenes, and built a deep understanding of how teams function both on and off the ice. Now, he's taking his talents to the OHL League office, where he currently works as the manager of social media and digital content, helping shape the voice of the league across platforms and connect with fans across Ontario and beyond. From scouting to strategy to content creation and team operations, he's seen it all, ladies and gents. Please welcome to the BTB podcast, manager of social media and digital content for the Ontario Hockey League, Collin Jennings. How we doing?
I need that intro every Monday morning to fire me up for my work week.
Dude, no
You got
kidding.
it.
That
You
was
got
the
it, sir.
longest intro
Just
in 5
slap it
years.
into the resume.
Wow. Talk about the credentials, Colin. That's amazing. That's amazing. How are we feeling heading into the season?
That's good. I'm kind of excited to be on the league side now, more of a neutral side, and kind of get to celebrate 20 teams instead of like one team's success. So it's pretty fun getting to kind of have more victories on that.
Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
like that.
Obviously we all took SPAD. That's where you kind of obviously started. Like, what drew you to that program and what did you obviously take away from it?
I mean, I first honestly looked at Brock, toured Brock, really liked the campus. The dorms were kind of hit or miss. And then went up to Sudbury, kind of talked to the soccer coach, was not anything good at soccer. I mean, I walked on the team my first year, never played, basically watched Connor Vandaway play the entire time. And then it was just honestly like more the business aspect of it, like the duality of the program itself.
Yeah, love that. And one of the best things about SPAD is the internship opportunities that come about with it. And you spent some time with the Sens in Ottawa. So take us through that experience. How did you land it, and how did it prepare you for what came next?
I think that was like the big thing with SPAD was just the alumni network that it kind of has. So the guy in charge there, Chris Moore, was a SPAD grad at the time as well. He kind of did a pretty good job of bringing in SPAD grads for that position. There was like Ben Goodman that done it before me, who's now in the AHL as well. So it was just having that network open and kind of being able to take advantage of that, like you guys said. And pretty well everywhere I've worked, I've now been with a SPAD grad.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. The network is deep, that's for sure. And now looking at the Barrie Colts here, you started as a scout back in 2016. How did that role come about? Obviously,
And did you ever scout me? Did you ever scout me? Come on. I had to ask that now. I had to slide that in.
Slow boots.
I cut him off right away. Slow boots, good IQ. Yeah, how was that, I guess, whole experience?
I mean, it all started with SPAD. So the GM at the time, Jason Ford, was a SPAD grad as well, and he kind of did a summer workshop of like some scouting, some hockey op stuff. So I took that in the summer, and that was going into my second year of SPAD. So he kind of needed someone at the time to kind of fulfill the Northern Ontario region, and there was myself and Dustin Pelche, who kind of stepped into that role.
Awesome.
I remember watching Tommy on the nickel caps. I can probably pull up a scouting report and send it later, but
oh my God, I would pay for that. I would pay for that.
Oh my God, face-off percentage probably the best in Northern Ontario. Slowest boots, good leader. That's probably what you got.
Yeah, Telus Cup run.
Yeah.
Colin, from scouting to obviously going to managing social media, media relations, and obviously moving to hockey ops, like how did you balance all those like evolving roles with the Colts?
I think it definitely takes like a unique person and kind of unique people around you to kind of trust you with that. Usually at the OHL level, it's usually small groups of individuals working at the club level. So I think people are usually pretty happy when they can kind of dish off some of the lower end stuff to you. So it kind of just happened like right place, right time. And like obviously like really good people around me. So like my biggest one would probably be Rob Stewart. He was an assistant GM there, and he kind of left after my first year and kind of needed a gap to fill of someone kind of take on that stuff. And even just like being technically inclined and like knowing some hockey and like being around it definitely benefits.
Yeah, definitely. And what did your day to day look like in Barrie?
It kind of varied. Wore a lot of different hats, which a lot of people do in the
Yeah.
NHL. So like some of it in the morning would be like taking the photos, doing the lineups, some graphics, and then it kind of came in waves. I would say like your preseason stuff would be really busy with all like if you have any trades, contracts, stuff like that. And then you kind of get a slow down period, and then your deadline gets really busy. But honestly, really benefited on the social and the media side, just basically knowing if you have a signing coming, if there's a big trade coming, stuff like that. And
Okay.
then
Gotcha.
the game nights were primarily just social media, anyways. Like you're going 4 o'clock to usually 11 o'clock midnight. You're kind of out of the office.
Yeah. No, that's a grind. For sure. So, and so you also worked on the hockey ops side of things too. So what was that role kind of like compared to what you were doing on the media side?
A lot of the more back end stuff,
Yeah.
contracts, a lot of just filling out forms, making sure the league policies are correct on it. You're filling out the correct information. I know Tommy never got one of those contracts, but um,
Couple jabs. Come on,
It is.
man.
It's
You
so
are
good.
right. You're right. You're right. Not even a U18 deal. Like it's a joke, Colin. Joke. Having you on my podcast now.
Only 2 rounds for that, Tom. So
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
I had a pretty good year. He knows. I want to see the scouting report now, but you can continue on.
a lot of it just kind of it came in waves throughout the season. Like your off season was pretty slow. Like your July got pretty slow, and then like your draft at the end of the season got really busy because that's usually when you got playoffs going on. Your draft, and then you're trying to sign guys. Usually your rookie camp comes up pretty quick as well, so that stuff gets in pretty hectic and gets pretty busy. But for the most part, like you're kind of picking away at it throughout the day or throughout the week.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Cool. And looking at the media side of things here in the O, and I guess in hockey in general, I think we've seen it evolve like crazy now, especially in the world of social media. Everyone's got a personality now, especially even these young OHL junior hockey players now. And we see a lot of time and money put into social media and media, digital content in the O. So I guess, how have you seen it from your side evolve over your time in junior hockey?
I'd say like even from when I started, like I was in the 21-22 season. That was like kind of a weird season of you're kind of in and out of the ranks of either fans kind of could watch or could not watch. But even from my time, like I'd say video has probably been the biggest change.
Hmm.
We're definitely stepping that up. Like I had a videographer for 2 seasons, and just been pretty cool to see the transition of like these guys are super talented coming out of like first year, second year university, even some high school kids, and like they're picking up like crazy, and even like being way more comfortable in front of the camera, on the camera, like it's definitely an evolving world, and super talented. And like these kids, like I'll shout out Brennan, had him for 2 years, and we did a whole documentary last year, and I ended up winning an award for the best social media team in the league. So it was pretty cool, but a lot of work and a lot of grind. Like these guys are definitely more skilled than I ever was at that age because I had to pick it up pretty quick, and you definitely benefit from having them around.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure.
What would you say the key is to connect with fans through like digital platforms, like especially at the junior level? Like how's that for you?
I think it's all about kind of having a personality. I
Mm-hmm.
that is probably one of the more risky teams on social media with Barry, and just kind of knowing your brand, knowing kind of people you work with, the ownership, kind of what you can and can't get away with, and
Mm-hmm.
It's all about personality and kind of connecting with those fans. And obviously, I did some stuff where I delete it, and some of the stuff you kind of would leave it up, and you just hope and kind of pray that it was fine. But it moves so fast digitally now that where you can post something and in an hour you have no idea like what it is. So I think just trying to stay relevant was the biggest thing, and trying to show more personality in the players too. Like I had players on the camera all the time, and you get them in at 16, you get them comfortable on the camera, and by the time they're leaving, they're way better off than when they came in. So
Yeah, definitely. They're seasoned pros by that time, for sure. Now, was there ever a time, I guess, because I feel the same way posting our content, where you knew something was going to be a hit, or like the world of social media is wild because some things you'll post, they'll go viral. You would never think it. So, was there ever a time for you like where you're like, this, especially you guys had some fire memes. So, like, would they like in your head, I guess, go viral?
yeah, we've had a couple, like a lot of our big hits. You kind of knew as soon as I kind of hit a certain couple people on Twitter and you get those likes or some reshares on Instagram, like you're like, all right, we're probably in for at least 100,000 views on this. Um,
Yeah.
and then some of the memes, like especially playoffs, like we had a good one against Kingston in round two, stuff like that. You definitely know it's gonna like do very well. You just gotta hope you kind of execute it good enough.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Tom?
Yeah, let's move on. Obviously, now to like your current role, manager of social media and digital content for the OHL at the league office level. Like, obviously, I know it's fresh, but what does a day look like for you nowadays?
A lot of it, the past probably month has been a lot of redesigning some stuff. So a lot of graphic redesign, schedules, score graphics, player of the week, stuff like that, where a lot of does get kind of be repetitive stuff on the social feeds, but a lot of it is sponsored content. So it is an obligation we have to do. Just kind of giving a fresh look, new assets we kind of have, new kind of branding. Like we have a whole brand package around greatness is here. Just kind of evolved around the OHL, CHL as a whole now, and the whole NCAA thing is pretty big competitors now. So just kind of letting people know that these players are coming from the OHL when they're in the pros.
That's awesome. And how do
Yeah.
you approach like balancing, I guess, all 20 teams? Like, I guess that must be pretty difficult. Like, how do you go about balancing all with the same OHL vision as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have your teams that are gonna be better off than others. So they have more star power. Like those guys definitely get more attention. But you also have to pay attention to your smaller market teams, like your Owen Sound. Like they still have all those star players like Carter George,
Mhm.
guys like that. But it's all kind of like resharing their stuff, trying to spread the love around. Some teams post a lot more than others, and some teams are pretty quiet. So with those teams that are posting a lot, you're probably interacting with them the most. And those teams that maybe aren't posting as much, you're trying to find something of them to post.
Yeah, for sure. And we were looking at obviously a major trend now is collab post on Instagram. You guys find yourself doing that a lot with teams now?
Yeah, like I remember last year in Barrie, I used to fire off collabs all the time. People used to call us out for always collabing with the league, but they always had a bigger reach than us. And then I think this helps amplify the content. I think there's kind of like a fine line to walk. Like I try not to usually accept it within the first hour or two, just kind of have it go through that cycle. And then with the OHL brand now, I think we have 175,000. So I think with that, if we can repurpose it a couple hours later, it definitely helps the teams out or any other content.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And I'm not sure if you're involved with this a lot, but obviously the OHL announced the big move to flow hockey for the next 7 years. So I don't know if you can share any insight on that, what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely benefits the fans first most because it's right now it's at 1080p. So it's a big upgrade from 720. So the quality be a lot higher. Because I know a lot of the OHL broadcasts, if you look, it's usually
Oh,
could have been pretty fuzzy,
yeah.
especially some of the rinks around the OHL. That's probably the biggest one. And I mean, you also get all the AHL, the ECHL, the Quebec League as well. So there's more hockey on it. I know it's a big on like dirt racing. So that's probably, and I think the biggest misconception is the price point. So the old CHL TV package never used to include playoffs, where this includes playoffs. Um,
Okay.
I think
That's huge.
if you're not a team that's going to make the playoffs or have playoff aspirations, it might not be the biggest deal. But if you're a team that always hits playoffs, like that's a big cost savings as well.
Okay,
Okay.
good to know. That's huge.
Colin, what do you think is next for the OHL when it comes to like digital innovation or like fan engagement?
I think like from the league level, it's always tough of like you're not around the players every day.
Hmm.
So trying to get more players on it and like front facing is always the challenge. At least now we have some more events like the CHL Top Prospects game this year is in Calgary and Lethbridge. Top Prospects game or the Connor McDavid game is in Peterborough this year. So like that, those are your big opportunities to get the players on the camera and like you bank your content from that. You get your draft and obviously like my goal this year is to be out in the rinks a little bit more than on the league side than they have been the past couple of years. Like I'm still here in Barrie. I'm 5 kilometers from the rink. So I think we'll probably be using Barrie as a hub to kind of get some of the other guys kind of coming through Barrie. So yeah, I think just getting more of them on your screen instead of just seeing like still image or just kind of like a graphic per se with some words. So
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, that was gonna be my next question. If there's like an OHL HQ, but are you mostly remote?
yeah, like we're four
Yeah.
days at home, 1 day in the office.
Okay.
So it's about an hour, 15, hour 25, depending on traffic for me. It's every
Okay.
Wednesday in Scarborough.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool. OHL HQ. I didn't know if there was a physical spot. So okay. Cool. Cool. Now obviously you took SPAD. We're SPAD alumni here. What advice would you give to SPAD students or young professionals trying to break through the world of sports?
Like I always had students reach out to me. Usually it wasn't a lot of the Laurentian students just based on living in Barrie.
Yep.
But I honestly think like what you guys kind of did as well, like kind of take it upon yourself, start learning, pick it up. Like I don't think they do it even now. Like I wish SPAD would have taught more of the Photoshop, more of the digital side. Like I think that's like the biggest miss SPAD has right now is not teaching that. Because if you have an entry level or even just a like a little bit of knowledge of Photoshop of how to remove a background, text overlay, stuff like that goes a long way in hiring process. We have some of these people that apply to you and great, you have a business degree, but if you're going in communications now, usually an entry level job, you kind of need to know a little bit. So and it is expensive to learn. Like the programs themselves, I'm sure you guys are aware of. There's pretty
Yeah.
big cost with them, and I think if SPAG could eat some of that cost, or even kind of have some courses on that. Like I know JP had some kind of sport media courses, but there's nothing really
Mhm.
hands-on of the digital side of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it'd be so beneficial, and I
But
think pretty easy to run as well,
the other
for
like
sure.
the other thing too is I think just get out in the field. Like there's so many smaller teams. Like you have all those teams in the NOJ. Even Sudbury, I know they have like the analytics corner still, but like just getting that hands-on experience goes a long way. And like there's definitely all those teams that need help.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool for sure. I actually question for you that popped in my head from your scouting days, in Bear. Are there any players that you fought for that came through the ranks? Any players that you were happy to say you kind of scored them on Barry?
There's always a couple guys that you kind of like that have done well. I'd say the first player I had was from Ottawa area when I was scouting or living in Ottawa with the Sens was Ronak Jodwen. I think we drafted him in the 8th or 9th round. Remember him? Like he's probably like one of the fastest players in the
Oh
OHL
yeah.
years. This little guy. So he was probably like the guy I was probably banging the table for the most. But over the years, you kind of get some guys, and then I'd say like over the past couple of years, I definitely was in the rinks a lot less. Just
Hmm.
busy, and I think there come a point where you the push pull of if I'm going up to these ranks, am I really getting the reward of seeing it later on? And usually ended up not being that.
Hmm.
So there was always like those guys, but Ronik Jodwan was like the first player.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Tom?
I wanted to ask, like, I guess obviously this role is amazing, but what do you think is next for you? Like, I know it's kind of a hard question because this is roughly new, but have you thought about 5, 10 years down the window?
You always think about like the kind of 10-year window. But right now, like I'm still fairly new to it. The
Yeah.
OHL is growing right now as well. Like even the past year, I know the OHL office has grown a ton. And there's been a lot of people that have been there for a while and like for years. So definitely being with a group that is dedicated to it and like having it grow Was something I was really looking for when I was leaving Barrie. So I'd say like, as of right now, I'd say like 100% focused on staying in junior hockey. Obviously, want to move on eventually to the NHL or wherever that kind of next step would be. But as of right now, like the OHL and CHL as a whole has been pretty fun and has its like little niche pockets which are pretty fun to kind of be around and some of the events. So
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. What's your take on the whole? And I don't know how much obviously you can share, but maybe your take on the NCAA rule and how much you think that's going to change the landscape of the CHL as a whole.
yeah, I think the biggest misconception online is the CHL as a whole is losing all these players, which isn't correct. Because if you look at the
Hmm.
influx of players the OHL and CHL as a whole has brought in, that these players never actually would have played in the OHL, and they're bringing high end talent in. Now you're losing some of your better players, but you're bringing in a lot more players now that are going to grow into those type of players. And
Yeah,
then
no,
on the flip side, then you get like your
yeah.
older players that are kind of going out. Like in Barrie, I think all three of our overagers are now in D1. And like for those guys, they didn't really have any pro contracts that they like waiting for them. So if they can kind of extend their playing careers, get a good education, have fun, and then kind of gives them more time to develop. And we had our goalie, Sam Hillebrandt. He's from Florida, free agent pick, played 3 years with us, kind of was a late bloomer, and he's now off to Ohio State. So just guys like that, you're kind of happy to see kind of go on and get more playing time and more time to develop, because at the end of the day, it's what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. Like we chat about it. It's kind of like one of the rare occasions where you see a decision made in mostly the best interest for the player, which is great to see. And I totally agree with you on that. On the point that a lot of kids who would have held themselves back to go play NCAA now can go and do it in the O, which is very cool. Now moving on to this year, obviously I know you're neutral nowadays, but I guess do you have any early takes for the year? Maybe some players to look out for, maybe some diamonds in the rough, teams that you're looking at that might make some noise this year. Obviously, we got the London Knights, of course. Everyone knows the London Knights, but yeah, take us through what you think this year could look like.
I mean, one of my favorite players in the OHL right now is Sudbury favorite Kayshawn Aitchison. So I think it's time for a big year. It was cool watching him, being with him at the draft, and in LA with him. He's a big one. Definitely kind of came on the scene pretty hot last year, scoring, I think, 26 goals or whatever. But there's some pretty good teams around the league. Brantford will be a big contender. Windsor will be another big contender. Like they're pretty stacked with talent. A couple of like Ethan Belchets, like it's a high profile player right there. And they got some other great players there. So I think those are probably the two teams I would say are going to be pretty solid. And I think North Bay will be kind of the come up of them again of their past couple of years. They have some really good young players. Might not be like this year might not be their year, but they're definitely building in the right direction. They have some really skilled players.
For sure, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. A lot of those players came from the Colts org right there, North Bay Colts. I love it. I love it. All right, Colin. Well, before we let you go here, we're gonna go to our dynamic five rapid fire questions. Whatever comes to the top of your head here, let it rip. So I'll send it off to Tom.
All right. What's your favorite pump up tune?
It has to be like a big booty mix.
Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Who's your favorite NHL fantasy player to have on your roster?
Mikko Rantanen.
That is right. I remember that now. Okay. Dream travel destination, anywhere in the world where you want to travel to.
I always think Germany would be cool.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. What's your go-to arena snack?
Hot dogs.
Yeah,
And French
glizzies.
River used to have the best hot dog in the Noach.
Okay.
That's right, Grand Trainer. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's
big
true.
time.
And your favorite Subway restaurant? What's your answer for that?
Favorite Sudbury restaurant. Probably Respect is Burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Which
another.
in university would not probably have been the spot. I think we went there once. But later of going back in Sudbury, definitely the best restaurant in Sudbury.
Yeah, totally, totally. Cool. Well, listen, Colin, thanks a lot for hopping on here with the boys and chopping it up. Obviously, congrats on the new role. Excited to see the content that comes out of the O. And if you ever want to collab with the pod, of course, let us know. We'd be more than happy to. So we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, and looking forward to see you guys fire the guys up again with starting lineup.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.